Hello, welcome to this video on resume building. Hopefully you have the resume template that I will be going over in today's session. If not, please feel free to contact the Career Services Department, either at the email address provided, career.services@graduationalliance.com. You can also call me directly at the number provided there, or also join our Facebook group and you can message somebody in our career services department there as well. So as we go ahead and take a look at the resume template, hopefully you have pulled up in front of you, feel free as you are going through this template to delete what is listed and provide your information. So for instance, if you want to go ahead and start typing in your name and your contact information, I'm going to go ahead and get started on talking about the guidelines to writing a resume and some other items to be mindful of. So as we are filling out this resume, hopefully you have an idea as far as what type of job it is you are searching for or applying to. So making a list of requirements for the job that you're applying for. Maybe it's in the profession that you've already been working in. If you haven't had a job before, that's okay too. You can look up jobs on Indeed or other job searches to be able to figure out what type of job maybe you would like to get. And you want to refer to this list when you're writing your resume. You want to make sure that you're reflecting on what experience you have, whether it's from school or other jobs that will match with the job that you're trying to apply to. So you want to make sure that you're listing those skills as we go through the resume. If you don't meet the exact requirements, that's okay. List related or similar skills. So for an example, if a job asks for 3 to 5 years of experience and maybe you only have 2, you could write 2+ years of experience. We want to make sure as we're going through this that we are using a simple format, which is the purpose of using this template that hopefully you're filling out. It is very simple. It has your contact information. We've got a summary and objective listed, your education, work experience, and skills. You also want to make sure that you're using standard fonts. So 10 to 12 point font, as well as making sure that you're not using any fonts that are going to be cursive or hard to read. You want to make sure that you're using Arial or Georgia, Times New Roman, so very simple and easy ones to be able to read as an employer gets your resume. What to be mindful of as we are filling this out. So your resume is often your first and best chance to get noticed by recruiters and hiring managers. Your goal is to make it easy for them to see that you have the qualifications that they're looking for, which is why you do a little bit of research beforehand and make that list. You want to make sure that we're going to list the core skills from courses. Online applications typically are sorted through a software, so they scan resumes and cover letters for relevant experience, skills, and other keywords. Resumes should be limited to 1 page, and be mindful of your email address. This should be professional with your name in the address. So for instance, my name is Melissa, so I might want to do melissa.soria@gmail.com. So if your name is Jane Smith, maybe you want to do Jane.Smith or Jane _Smith, something that has your name, and it's easy for employers to be able to know exactly who they're talking to if you email back and forth, and it just comes across very professional. Hopefully that gave you enough time to go ahead and fill out your name and your address, city, zip code, telephone, and email address. The next section is the objective. So the objective clearly calls out your most recent qualifications. So this is a short description that should quickly advertise your skill set and professional goals to any reader. So an example, if you were to do a headline, customer success professional with 3+ years experience, delighting clients in the retail industry. And the objective would be experience in resolving client concerns via chat, email, and phone, routinely recognized by management and peers for assertive and enthusiastic spirit. I'm excited to continue a career in e-commerce. So that's just a quick, short description, and you're advertising yourself to show what experience that you have and that you would be a great candidate for the job that you're applying to. Now, under education, you are going to leave high school diploma because that's the degree that you have earned. If you haven't completed your classes yet, that's okay. You can put for the date earned when you're expected to graduate. So if it's later this year, so maybe it's November of 2019, you could put that. And then the school, this is where it can get a little bit tricky, especially since you technically will be earning a diploma through the school district in which you live in. If you want to wait for your actual diploma and transcript to come in the mail so you know exactly what it says on there, you can definitely do that and just put Graduation Alliance for the time being. Or if you know what high school that will be, you can go ahead and put the high school name there. Now, the related coursework. You may have been taking classes that you can add as a bullet point in these areas, and you want to make sure that you list the course name as well as the month and year that you completed it, or at least the year. So some examples that would be classes that you took with us would be caregiver classes. So if you took and passed both of the caregiver semesters and earned the certificate, you could list that. If you took and completed the OSHA 10 class, that's another certification. You could list that under education. Some of the other classes would be digital literacy, financial math, career development, even child development, especially if you're looking to apply for a job working with children. That would be another great class to put in the bullet points. So you don't want to list every single class that you've ever taken in high school, but as you can see with those examples, those are very specific that could help you get your foot in the door in certain industries, even financial math. I'm not sure if I mentioned that one. If you have questions about other classes, feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about anything regarding your resume as you're filling it out. Now, in the skills and abilities, only you will really know if you have any qualifications in this area. If you have held any positions in management, if you've had a sales job, if you don't have any experience in that, that's okay too. You can just delete those right off, but these are just some examples of items that you can put under the skills and abilities. For communication, if you're one that has communicated really well with your teachers, with your academic coach, in other jobs that you've had, having to communicate with coworkers by email, phone, messaging, whatever that may have been, you can list that out. Maybe it's even helping customers, communicating, having good communication skills with that. Any leadership, and leadership can be such a broad range. If you played any sports and you were a captain of a team, or you worked in groups in classes and you had a leadership position and you were the one in charge of making sure that your group got, everything completed. So any type of leadership that maybe you've had, and it could have been in high school, it could be at a position. So you can, list that out there. If you have any questions about this particular area or any one of those, feel free to reach out. Now, the next area is going to be your work experience. The most recent position should be listed first. So you want to make sure that you're working backwards, basically. So listing the most recent first, you want to use bullet points rather than paragraphs. This makes it a lot easier for employers to read. And the bullet points are going to be listing a brief summary of your key responsibilities and your most stellar accomplishments. And so you can feel free, like I said earlier, to replace what your job title was where it says job title 1, the company's name that you were working for, and then the dates that you worked from and to. And then you're going to start listing out in bullet points the summary of your key responsibilities and most stellar accomplishments. And depending on how many jobs you've had, you can, copy and paste this format if you have multiple jobs, more than the 2 that I have here for you to use as examples. You also want to make sure as you're going through and listing these responsibilities that you're adding numbers to it. So if you have percentages depending on what jobs that you've had. So anything that shows numbers kind of draws an employer to view that. For instance, maybe if I was listing something here, for my job, how many students maybe I would speak to on a weekly basis and put, a number. So if you have anything in past jobs that you can provide that, I know that that's usually something that's great to add. If you have any employment gaps, you can fill in employment gaps with other experiences such as education or freelance work. If you can include more details about your most recent job and then fewer details from roles you held earlier in your career. So your most recent job should probably have the most bullet points, and then the first job that you ever had probably will have less. This helps, try to keep your resume to that 1-page limit that we were talking about earlier. Some other ideas as far as skills go. So if we go back up to this area right here for skills and abilities, so some other ideas that you could list there could maybe even be soft skills, interpersonal communication, which would fall under communication, or organization or attention to detail. So those would be some examples of soft skills. Hard skills would be specific tools. So if you have specific knowledge on software, and it could even be Microsoft Office. You guys, probably have used Microsoft Office or your Google documents to be able to write papers for work, for your school work. So that could be something that you could list there. It is going to vary by industry depending on what industries you've been in for work. But PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, any of those would be, great skills to list under skills and abilities as well. And let me see if there was anything else I wanted to go over. Make sure that you proofread your resume. Send it to the Career Services Department. We would be happy to look over your resume for you and see if there's anything else we can think of to add, or maybe tweak how things are being said on there to just help your chances on getting those job interviews. But other than that, reach out to us anyways. We can help you, search for jobs, see if any of the employer partnerships that we have would be a good fit for you. If you would like to reach out to us to schedule a one-on-one call, we would be happy to visit with you and even walk you through setting up a resume even further. Please let me know if you have any questions, and stay tuned for more videos. Have a good day.